quick little visual on what I'm explaining right here, right? Like I was saying, how I react, boom, great posture, and I get into good position. And this is what not to do down here, right here. Look at this, boom, slow, ugly, terrible. And this is how I took off, right? Let me zoom in. Look at that. The one at the bottom is disgusting. What's going on, everybody? This is Marquise Dendy here, and today we're going to break down some film. This was the Ed Murphy Classic, July 12th. So this is some recent footage. Yeah, let's just break this down. This is one of the jumps that I got from back. I believe this is the first one. So this is my 770 one. So for the first video that I'm posting, it's going to be a bad one. Let's dive right on in. Alright, yeah, this is cheeks. I ain't gonna hold you. This is cheeks. Let's move me out the way. Let's move right here. Let's zoom this in. Yeah, I don't like this right here. And we'll talk about this daylight that's coming in between these frames. Let's zoom in, actually. Get a little closer so we can kind of see. We'll just start with why I think this is bad. One, if my memory serves me right, I can't see. So at the time I didn't have my contacts in, so it was really hard for me to kind of steer my way into the board. So I kind of was misjudging where my feet were. The one at the bottom is so I was disgusting. Kind of getting my spacing wrong, so it caused me to slow down a lot. And the one on the bottom, approaching 770, so all that speed, the one on the top, 835 plus pushes in my acceleration, and that's the difference. Just wasted out here. I mean, right there. I don't really how I react and got to this position foot frame versus such a large leap, slow, right? I'm lethargic, not really reacting, not really kind of bringing us back. USATF, and then I'm in this position really quickly too for providing. He's barely at 90. They're not at parallel. It's really helpful for me to break down film. And I thought this time this is bad all the way around. Kind of show you what I kind of see. And that's the reason why it's a 770 jump. But yeah, I don't like this. I don't really think the speed or too long of I don't like that either. So I wish I could. Let me see if I can zoom in a bit more. I can. So let me show you. Yeah, here we go. This is a lot. This is a lot of time and spacing that I'm slowing down to do. I don't like how, so that what that shows me is that I'm too far away from the board to set up a proper penultimate, which means I slow down coming towards the board. So whenever this back foot, this is my setup for my penultimate, and as it's going, this is a whole nother frame. This is me. I should have probably taken off right here, but like in this position. However, I don't, because I'm still floating. Right, I'm floating, I'm gliding to the board, and then you can tell that when I do make contact, boom, crunchy, collapses, right? Even shifts positions really quick to kind of mitigate and kind of balance myself out, but this is a crunch, right? This is right there. You can kind of see with the purple, kind of goes to purple when we don't want that. That's not really good. That's not a proper takeoff. We're not going to get anything off of that. And when we expand it back, you see the full, you can tell not really a good amount of height. I correct myself really well, I guess. I straighten up, but this isn't really good height on my form. That's not bad, but it's just no speed there carrying me. These are the jumps that you do all that work and then you're wondering why it comes up 770. It's because of way back here. In this split second, you're wasting time. There's no leverage in the air, right? So the more time that you spend in the air, not gaining any momentum, not building any kinetic energy, it's just a waste. You're just slowing it down. This is cheeks. Let's move me out the way. Let's move right here. Let's zoom this in. Yeah, I don't like this right here. And we'll talk about this daylight that's coming in between these frames. Let's zoom in, actually. Get a little closer so we can kind of see. We'll just start with why I think this is bad. One, if my memory serves me right, I can't see. So at the time I didn't have my contacts in, so it was really hard for me to kind of steer my way into the board. So, I kind of was misjudging where my feet were and my steps were, so I was kind of was getting my spacing wrong. So it caused me to slow down a lot, especially approaching the board. So all that speed that I built up in the back, kind of with my pushes and my acceleration was just wasted out here. I mean, I don't really like how on this foot frame it's such a large leap. Right, I'm actually coming out of the frame of this strobe. So shout out to USATF High Performance, actually, really quickly too, for providing these strobes. Um, it's really helpful for me to break down film. And I thought this time I might as well just kind of film it this time and kind of show you what I kind of see when I look at myself. But yeah, I don't like this. This is too long of I don't like that either. So I wish I could, let me see if I can zoom in a bit more. I can. So, let me show you. Yeah, here we go. This is a lot. This is a lot of time and spacing that I'm slowing down to do. I don't like how, and so that what that shows me is that I'm too far away from the board to set up a proper penultimate, which means I slow down coming towards the board. So whenever this back foot, this is my setup for my penultimate, and as it's going, this is a whole nother frame. This is me. I should have probably taken off right here, but like in this position. However, I don't because I'm still floating, right? I'm floating, I'm gliding to the board, and then you can tell that when I do make contact, boom, crunchy, collapses, right? I even shift positions really quick to kind of mitigate and kind of balance myself out, but this is a crunch, right? This is right there. You can kind of see with the purple, kind of goes to purple you see that we don't want that. That's not really good. That's not a proper takeoff. We're not going to get anything off of that. And when we expand it back, you see the full, you can tell not really a good amount of height. I correct myself really well, I guess. I straighten up, but this isn't really good height. I go through my phases, in my form. That's not bad. But it's just no speed there carrying me. And this felt like, and it might look like a good jump from the naked eye, just from seeing it, like from me landing and kind of going through my flight. But these are the jumps that you do all that work and then you're wondering why it comes up 770. It's because of way back here. In this split second, you're wasting time and speed. There's no leverage in the air, right? So the more time that you spend in the air, not gaining any momentum, not building any kinetic energy, it's just a waste. You're just slowing it down, right? And so then I come here, I put the brakes on because of the position of the floating. I'm not really reacting. Let's zoom in back in. I'm not reacting. I'm acting, but I'm not. I'm actually in between two, I guess, thought processes. I'm acting and in between reacting. So I'm pushing off, or I guess not acting. I guess it would be my action and reaction. So my action was I pushed off and I floated into the board, which caused me to slow down. I'm in between timing to get that reaction properly. So I'm just waiting for the board to come to me. I then react late because everything's flying, a million miles per second. I react late and I get crunchy at the board. The only positive is that was strong enough, obviously quad and knees down. That's usually how injuries happen when you kind of put yourself in bad positions. And so luckily I'm strong enough. Luckily I've taken care of myself to where I shifted and I changed my positions. I was able to kind of get off of that and actually do an actual legitimate jump on the board, even though I slowed down to kind of do it. And then we go through a full flight. I hit all good positions in the air, particularly this one. This is not bad. We zoom, right, now that we're in this position. But you can even kind of see in this one right here, this is a little bit, I'm folding a little bit. I'm preparing to land a little bit too quickly. Yeah, Yeah, no, I'm not gonna lie. This is garbage. I'm sorry. I gotta show this to y'all. This is not it. This is not good. Clearly, the only thing I do well is probably right here, and even then I collapse because I'm running out of speed. I'm running out of momentum, and I still kind of lawn chair this in at that point. Let's back this up again and let's dissect where. Well, I mentioned that I lost speed, so that's number one. The three main core attributes into a good running a jump is you got to have great technique, and that technique can branch into your sprint technique, foot placement, your knowledge of the board, your approach management, all that type of stuff. Your mental, which is steering and spacing, understanding where you are, your depth perception, how well you can perceive depth and know, okay, well, if my feet are right here and the board's right there, how can I get to that point without slowing down, right? So this technique, your mental capacity, and obviously your which I guess mental and technique kind of go hand in hand. So I guess we can combine those two. So I guess your mental will affect how well you do your technique. So let's just scratch that and go back to just saying it's your mental, which involves which involves your technique, your speed. You gotta have speed. The fastest person in between. I mean, I actually show you in between these points right here. This is why the video doesn't even start to right here, because this is the only point in which this is where long jump happens. All the stuff before then, all your pushes, all your getting up and running, that's all just a formality, because we can't just start at the board and obviously just run and jump, right? So your long jump starts right as I approach. So all that building up, all that gathering and kind of speed and getting to that point, that's long jump. That's where the long jump is at. And so getting it to being the fastest from this point right here to right there, that's a long jump. And so you got to be fast for that. And also strength. How well can you maintain positions when you get off of the technique? How well can you maintain a one-legged penultimate, stabilization on that one leg to shift that energy to the other one violently and accurately, within a finite, position of speed and timing. You got to be really, really good at timing. And then you have to get off the ground, be strong enough to hold your flight, hold your technique, and land at the spot that is going to win that competition. So all that's kind of running through your head, but it's definitely those three things: speed, mental, and strength. Right? Those are the three things. Those are the core attributes, and they branch off to kind of other things that are making it specific to this event. But that's pretty much how track and field works, and that's definitely how this long jump works as well. So I would say that for the speed category, I would give myself a C minus. I was fast enough to get to a 7-meter jump, I guess, but slowing down doesn't help when I'm not bringing that through the board. Strong, I guess, yeah, that's good. Even though coming with that such a lack of speed, I was still able to maintain my flight, get up into my actual takeoff form and land in a decent way. It just wasn't far because I ran out of speed by the time I wanted to kind of get to the positions that I want. And I'll show you other strobes. I might after this video, or after we break down this one, I'll come back and I'll stitch a better strobe, maybe some other ones from maybe an 840 jump, or if I can find my 830s and stuff like that, I'll just show you the difference too. But yeah, strong. But this is how I am in the air. If that was just paired with better speed, if that would have gone much farther. But that's the proper technique. So I would give myself, A, maybe B plus, A minus. Mentally, my mental game, I guess I would probably say on this particular jump, definitely down there with C minus. So, you can tell that obviously I wasn't focused on that technical aspect of the run, slowed down and kind of trying to make it, or I just overemphasized wanting to do something really well that was at the end of it. You know what I mean? Which I tend to do. I think so much about that I want to land and make sure that I have really proper form and pop and great pop and all that. But that happens at the end of the run, right? That doesn't happen in the beginning. And the only way that will happen is if you execute proper plan running down the runway and don't have moments where you're slowing down to do so, right? You don't want to spend This right here is too many frames long. At the point in which I make my attack, which is off this foot, this is my right foot planting, that means I initiated my penultimate. And I initiated so far away that I had to kind of leap towards the board. You don't want that. I'm spending in too many frames getting to that point, and then you can tell that I'm out of position. And then I crumble strong enough to get off of that position and do a jump, but it was lackluster. This is good form coming off. I'm chicken winging a little bit. Chicken winging means that, I'm kind of bringing this arm up from the side instead of back first, which will give me a better chest and kind of aerate that, kind of bow out that back to kind of help me straighten up a little bit. But that's probably because I'm going so slow, I don't have time. So I didn't like that either. Yeah, this is just horrid. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, this is just bad. Angles are off. It's way too much daylight between, and then, okay, at the point where I take off, bam, right here. Once my foot gets there. You see where those two knees, I don't know if I can, I might be able to draw. Let me see. No, I can't. Oh, wait, I can. Right here. Oh, shit. Undo. Right here. Oh, no, that's the wrong one, too. Right there, though. Just get it. Anyway, I think I messed it up. I should make it red. Anyway. Now I got this mark on here. I don't know how to get it off. Anyway, it's like, oh wait, I think I did get it off. There we go. All right. So anyway, it's in between those two knees. So yeah, like it isn't, like it's too much daylight in between there, and that's not good. You don't want that. You don't want this right here. When the minute I plant, my knees have too much space in between. You want to get this to this point at the point of the board. I'm spending still more of a slide in a frame, so I can just tell you and know that I'm moving off that board super slow. And I'll show another example of where I do it right, or at least a little bit better, so that way you can kind of see that too. But that's not good. It's not good at all. So yeah, now I guess I'll go and I'll show you a better video. Hopefully I can get one from the same meet, but I got tons of strobes. But yeah, I'm highlighting a lot of my critique at this point of my run, which is, I would say, like I said, the actual point of long jump starting to initiate. And right here I'm crunchy. I don't like that either. This is just bad. I'm so sorry. This is terrible. For people who have to watch this too, this is bad. Yeah, I'm sure that's that point right here. This point that I'm on. This has got to be maybe 2 meters 50, 240 something, and I have to stretch to get there, and it just looks ugly as poor form, and not a good painting to paint. So yeah, but so now that we've seen it done horribly wrong, let's try to find some examples of it done right. Right? And the one on the bottom, 770 jump. Right? The one on the top, 835 plus. And that's the difference. Right there. How I react and got to this position versus slow, lethargic, not really reacting, not really kind of bringing this back. And then I'm in this position. Knees barely at 90. They're not at parallel. I mean, this is bad all the way around, right? And that's the reason why it's a 770 jump. You can't do anything running slow. You can't go anywhere running slow. Fat does not fly either, right? So you got to trim the fat off. And wasted movement like this, wasted time spent in the air is fat. You gotta trim that, or else you won't be like, lean meat right here up the top. Look at that. I mean, that's magical. This right here, let's get right to the point of my toes on the board. Oh, that looks good. That is, can we get in and zoom in more on that? Look at this. Look at that. That's magical right here. This down here is ugly. Ugly duckling. This is terrible. Right? Look at that. Crunch, crunch. It looked like it hurt. Probably did. Any 770 jump for me hurts. Anything that's under 810, I'm just like, I'm bleeding. Maximum, super effective hit. This was just bad. Yeah. That's embarrassing, but that's the difference there, folks.